Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to For the Win. The boys are back in town. The gang is back. We have all four guys this week. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope everyone here had a great Thanksgiving week last week. But let's go ahead and thank Bookmakers Review for this great opportunity. We do this every Thursday. We break down last week's NFL slate and we get into some of our best bets for this week's NFL slate. Please check out our YouTube. Like and subscribe, Bookmakers Review. Please check out the description. All of the information that you need related to the NFL is right there with all those links. So thank you again at bookmakersreview.com. All right, Dead Price Picks, how was your week last week?
It was a solid week, AC. Hope you guys all had a great Thanksgiving, first of all. But yeah, Thanksgiving Day, pretty good for me. Although your Cowboys did let me down there, AC. I was on Dallas, full disclosure, so had my family mad at me for betting on Dallas, obviously as an Eagles fan, and then I lost. So that wasn't too fun. But overall, the week was solid. Some great games again this week, and excited to get into the new week with you fellas on the show tonight.
All right, Donnie, I know we kind of ended last week's show with some of the things we're thankful for this year. How was your Thanksgiving, man?
Good. 3-0 last week on the show, so it doesn't get any more thankful than that. So looking forward to week 13 here in the NFL. Good to be with it's the four-man motion today, so it feels good to be back in the flow, doesn't it? Yeah.
Beautiful. Donnie went 3-0, and I know my guy, Alpha Dog Bets, also had a winning week. He went 2-1. Alpha, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was a great Thanksgiving. Got to spend it with my family, and it was even better picking up some NFL winners. So it was a great time, and happy to be back with you guys.
Beautiful. All right, so Dad kind of mentioned the Raiders Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day, but let's go ahead and get into the first game there, Alpha Dog. Bears Lions. This was an ugly game early on. It was 16-14. Chicago pulled it out. What are your thoughts on this game?
Man, Chicago got it done, but what an ugly game of football, to be completely honest with you guys. Wasn't the most exciting game. That's why they probably put it at the early window. Just kidding. I know they normally play at that time. But Andy Dalton got it done. He threw for 317 yards and picked up a big touchdown. So it was a good win for the Bears on the road.
All right. Donnie Rightside. All right. The late game. It was a blowout. Buffalo came in, took care of business in New Orleans. There's another game tonight, but let's just talk about last week's game, Buffalo, New Orleans. Was there any surprises here, or were you pretty expecting a blowout there?
Yeah, I think most of us had Buffalo -6 last week, and you're going to get really a preview from last week to this week of what you can anticipate from the Saints, which isn't much here. Easy win by the Buffalo Bills, and we know they got a real tough battle this week on Monday night. But that was a good performance that the Buffalo Bills needed after getting spanked by the Indianapolis Colts.
All right, you mentioned the Colts. I'll take this game here. The Bucs went on the road to beat Carson Wentz in Indianapolis. Tom Brady just owns that city, right? He owned it as a New England Patriot, and now he's owning it as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. It's arguably the best game of the year, or of the week at least, 38-31 for the Bucs. Dead Prez, did you follow this game at all?
I was following this game, and it was a back-and-forth game, they say. Like you said, the Colts kind of looked like they might knock off the Bucs here in this game, but playoff Lenny had to take over. Big day from him. And ultimately, the Bucs got it done. But, I mean, it was an offensive battle. Neither defense could really get a stop. Came down to kind of who had the ball last. Looked like the Bucs were going to end up kicking the field goal, but then Fournette breaks off the run, and the Bucs get it done. But impressive win still. I thought the Colts played a good game again. Kind of been the Colts thing, right? You know, they've stuck in games this year. They just haven't been able to close games. So tough loss for the Colts, but another really good win for Tom Brady and company this week.
All right, just a couple more games from last week's slate. Donnie, you said it. Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau Field. He's getting points. It's in the cold, windy conditions, and Aaron Rodgers delivered. Donnie Rightside, they won 36-28. The Rams did not win a single game in November. Are you worried about that team moving forward?
I'm a little bit worried about them because their offense should be more in motion than it is now. We'll see if Odell Beckham can pick up the what he did last game against Green Bay with that long touchdown pass. But I think we sort of nailed this game. We said, hey, look at the line. It's screaming take the Los Angeles Rams. But we bucked that trend and said, man, let's just back to the basics. Don't outsmart yourself. You're getting a couple points with Aaron Rodgers at home. Sign me up. And they did exactly that. It wasn't even as close as that 36-28 as it finished up there.
All right, and Alpha Dog Bets, this was a Sunday, late game of the week, I believe, on Fox. But it was the Vikings traveling to the Bay Area to play those Niners. The Vikings lost 26-34. I think we both won this game because I was on the Niners spread, and then you were on the Vikings teaser.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Teased that up to 9.5. A little shaky at the end. The 49ers had a chance to destroy my teaser with a late game field goal. Very happy they shanked that. Should have been made, but that's what got us there. So a little fortunate for me on that one, and it was a good call by you on that game.
All right, and let's go to Monday night. It was Seattle and Washington. I was on Washington. It was one of my favorite plays of the week. I just don't believe in Russell Wilson and that Seahawks team anymore. They haven't really been covering all year, and it just seems like he's very, very disinterested. Doesn't seem like he wants to be in Seattle at all. I'll go to Dead Prez Picks. How'd you feel about the Monday night football game?
Yeah, I was on Seattle AC in this one, so I didn't feel good about that. But yeah, Wilson, I got to think it was just, the injury still kind of how quickly he came back, because we know Wilson, I don't think he just fall off being as good as he was to what he's currently displaying. But yeah, a lot of issues in Seattle. That was kind of their season because the NFC is so close. That win actually put Washington into that last playoff spot, which is insane to think about. So, it would have been a big game for Seattle. They made it interesting at the end and a chance for the 2-point conversion. But, yeah, it's a mess in Seattle right now, and Wilson clearly is not right at the quarterback position.
Yeah, Donnie, any thoughts about Seattle and Russell Wilson there? They have a lot of big names. They still have Pete Carroll, but it's a terrible season for them. Do you think it's kind of a transition year, or do you think they still have a chance out there in the NFC?
Yeah, they're not going to make the playoffs this year. And coming into that game on Monday Night Football, I thought Washington was the better players. Washington's starting to get a little bit more healthy, and Russell Wilson just hasn't bounced back. Maybe that late touchdown drive showed you the old Russell Wilson, but not able to convert the 2-point conversion. I would be very surprised next year if two things were still in place: Pete Carroll's head football coach and Russell Wilson as the quarterback. I think they both move on at the end of the year.
Yeah, I kind of echo those same thoughts. Alpha Dog Bets, how do you feel about the Pacific Northwest there? Seattle, they're a perennial team that really contends for playoffs and Super Bowls, but this is a down year for them. Do you also think it's going to be a big breakup there?
I do. I think both, as what Donnie said, I think both of them are definitely going to be gone next year. Hoping potentially my New York Football Giants can swoop in and grab Russell Wilson so we have our quarterback in the future. But for right now, that Seahawks team is in a lot of trouble. They've had a lot of injuries as well. Alex Collins out for the year. Not Alex Collins. Who's out?
Chris Carson.
Chris Carson. Thank you. Carson's out for the year. They're starting running back. So they've had a lot of injuries, not the best of luck this year. So hopefully they could turn it around, but I'm not a believer in the Seahawks this year.
All right, Wizard, let's go ahead and get into this week's slate review. It starts tonight. It's the Saints, the Cowboys. The Saints dealing with a couple injuries there with some major players. Alvin Kamara, they're making a change at quarterback with Trevor Siemian going from Siemian now to Taysom Hill as the full-time starter. I'll start it off. I like the Saints today. I know it's going against movement. I know it's going against bad news. The Cowboys are getting a lot of their horses back from CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and Tyron Smith. But I think all of that news, everyone's going to be on the Cowboys, so I am contrarian for the most part. I lean the under, but I actually kind of really like the Saints tonight in this spot. I'll go with Alpha Dog Bets first. How do you feel about this game?
So, guys, I love the under in this spot. This is one of the few teams when they have an injury at the running back position, I feel it's equivalent to losing their star quarterback. Alvin Kamara does so much for that offense in the passing game and the receiving game that he is such a major loss that I think it's just the same as losing your star quarterback. I love this one going under. Dallas has had a lot of struggles on offense, and clearly the Saints have as well. I think Dallas gets up. The Saints have potential to backdoor in this one, in my opinion, but I think it stays under.
All right, Donnie Rightside, what do you think about tonight's Thursday night football game?
I think we have a carbon copy of last Thursday night's NFL game on Thanksgiving here, because the one thing Dallas is going to be able to move the football. They'll score. How many points do they need? We'll find out tonight. But the one thing I can't count on is the Saints doing anything on offense. It's going to be Mark Ingram and who else in this game? Not much. And also keep in mind, when you're starting right tackle and you're starting left tackle out, if you're this average guys, it still hurts your team. We have some of the best tackle combinations in the league that aren't going to play tonight. And, oh, yeah, who just got activated tonight? DeMarcus Lawrence. Who's on the other side? Micah Parsons. Good luck Saints scoring over 14 points tonight for me.
Dead Press picks Thursday Night Football. Are you on the Saints or the Cowboys tonight?
The side I like here, AC, is also the Saints, but I think the play I'll ultimately end up with is the Cowboys on the team total over 26.5. Like Donnie said, they're going to be able to move the football in this game. I think getting, obviously, Amari and CD back in this spot, it'll spark the offense. I can't trust their defense enough to lay it on the spread, so I do feel more comfortable just trusting Dak and the guys on offense. I think they move the ball in this game, and they get over 26.5 points ultimately. So I like their team total here.
All right, Wizard, I'm going to throw you a curveball here. So we went through all of last week's games. We preview tonight's Thursday Night Football game, but we have 2 resident Eagles fans here and 1 Giants fan. Alpha Dog Bets wanted to, talk his talk and really talk up his team. They did beat the Eagles this past weekend. So Alpha Dog Bets, the floor is yours.
This is more directed at my good friend, Dead President Picks, Bird Gang, Gang Gang, Philly Gang, whatever you always want to say over there. I thought these Eagles were going to want my Giants, man. What happened in this one?
It happens. It happens. We'll get you at the link. That's all I got to say.
One thing I will say that just blows my mind is after the game, I'm watching right before Sunday Night Football, the NFL show where they're recapping everything, and they put up the playoff race. And the Giants are 1 game out of the last wild card spot. So the season isn't done. I'm back to having hope. We're going to get in the playoff. The last spot is open. So let's go Giants. And we are back in the race.
All right. That was Alpha Dog Bets talking his talk. I can't believe he's a Giants fan. Throughout all this losing, they're about to have 5 straight years of losing seasons. All right, let's go to the next game here. Vikings Lions on Sunday morning. I'll start with Dead Prez here. Any angles or sides here for you?
Yeah, you see, I mean, this is one where it's so tough to back the Lions in this game. We've kind of mentioned the Vikings all season. What I thought was going to happen, AC, I know you and I, Donnie, think maybe you had the 49ers too. I thought the Vikings were going to march down, get a score, and then lose by 2 because that's what the Vikings do. So I was nervous about a little backdoor. But this is a team who just seems to lose every game super close. I do think that the Vikings get it done this week. I know this will be a super square public play, but a touchdown here, I mean, we know about the Lions. I don't even think the Lions at this point, they want to win, just blow up the season, try and get the best pick in the draft. And the Vikings are back in a playoff position. They're going to be a playoff team, I think. And I think this week they do cover this 7-point spread on the road.
All right, Donnie Rightside. Dead Prez did come up with a nice little preview there. So Minnesota is sitting at 5-6. Do you think they're going to make the playoffs?
I think they're going to end up making the playoffs here because Dalvin Cook should be back in a week to 2, depending on how that shoulder heals up. Madison's a pretty good replacement for him. But I just look at the rest of the NFC. And if you go talent for talent of those bottom teams that are fighting for the 7th seed, why not have them? Because they're still going to play teams like Detroit to finish out the rest of the year, teams like the Chicago Bears. So they do have a decent shot to get in. But then again, so many teams in the NFC do. But at least this team, Kirk Cousins having a very good season, 2 legitimate wide receivers. And if Dalvin Cook comes back, they're as good as anybody fighting for that 7th seed.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Donnie, we're going to stay with you. We have the Philadelphia Eagles. They're traveling to New Jersey to play the Jets there. The Eagles are 7-point road favorites. How do you feel about your Eagles in this game?
I think the Eagles win this game, but again, you're going to be a little bit leery of that 7-point number. They were horrendous last week in the Meadowlands, and they're going back to the same stadium. They're going to play a team that, honestly, for me, on offense, has a little bit more talent than the Giants came into the game, talent-wise, last week. But I do think the Eagles will rise up and win. Keep an eye on. Jalen Hurts doesn't throw the football all that efficiently here, and now you're talking about him having a banged-up sore ankle. That's something to keep an eye on. And again, talking about banged-up sore ankles, Miles Sanders also having issues this week with a sore ankle. We already know Jordan Howard is not going to play in this game. So maybe a lot more Boston Scott. If we're looking from a total perspective, you would think it gets over the 45.5. The Eagles defense is decent. The Jets defense is terrible. And outside of last week, the Eagles offense has performed very well over the past month. Eagles win this game, but I think it's going to be closer than the experts predict with that 7-point number, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And moving to this next game, Alpha Dog Bets, I'm big into sports cards. I'm big into collectibles in general. And 2 of the hottest quarterbacks in the NFL right now that everybody wants to get their hands on is Justin Herbert and Joey Burrow. This is a big game on Sunday. The game's going to happen in Cincinnati. Right now, the Bengals are 3-point favorites. I lean the Bengals here. I might just play the money line because I do think Cincinnati is more of a complete team. I think there are still some question marks when we're talking about the Chargers defense. How do you feel about this big Chargers Bengals game?
So I lean the Chargers in this one, guys, with the points, the +3. I think this game's going to come down to a last possession, could come down to a last field goal. And I think Justin Herbert's really going to step up. He had a terrible game last week, and he really needs to have a big game. So I see them getting it done. The +3 is what I'm taking in this one.
Dead Press Picks, do you like Bengals -3 or do you like the Chargers +3 there?
I do like the Bengals this week, AC. I mean, it seems like they're getting a little bit of momentum back, and the Chargers all of a sudden seem like, yeah, they're struggling a little bit at times. You mentioned Alpha Herbert did struggle last week, but I think the Bengals finding a little bit of a rhythm here at home, just laying a field goal. This is a big game, guys, for the playoff picture as well. Bengals currently the 5 seed, Chargers in that 7th position. So, but there are also teams who are just one game off being back ahead in their division. Obviously, right now the Chargers to hold that tiebreaker with Kansas City. So big game this week. It might be the biggest game in terms of playoff position at this moment. But I do like the Bengals here at home, guys, laying just the 3 points.
One thing I do want to say, I kind of agree with Alpha Dog Bets when it comes to the spot play, right? The Chargers are coming off a really disappointing loss in Denver, 28-13, and the Bengals are coming off a very, very impressive blowout victory over Pittsburgh, 41-10. The Bengals have won 2 straight. The Chargers have not covered in 3 straight. So the spot here does say Chargers, but I just think the more complete team, which is the Bengals, the better defense, and they're going to be a lot more opportunistic there in Cincinnati with the fans, potential bad weather, windy weather. So I think that just favors the Bengals for me. All right, Donnie Rightside, let's go ahead and move on to the next game here. It's the Giants and the Dolphins, 2 losing teams, but I think this game is actually going to be pretty good. Who do you like in this one?
Yeah, this will be interesting to see who the quarterback is actually going to be on Sunday. But then again, for the Giants, does it really matter if it's Daniel Jones or even if it's Mike Glennon? The only issue here is, Daniel Jones is an athletic quarterback, not a very good offensive line for the Giants. So if Mike Glennon goes in there, that's not going to hold very well if he needs to get out of the pocket and try to make some things happen outside. And also the Giants still coming in a little bit banged up. It looks like a very square play to make here. Obviously, the FanDuel Sportsbook opened up at a -2.5. We now sit around 4.5. I think the Dolphins overall are the better football team here. So I'll go with the Miami Dolphins in this one, try to keep it simple, but not in love with this wager overall.
All right, Alpha Dog Bets, I know you never bet your team. You're a big Giants fan. We all know that. But do you like your team's chances going into Miami this weekend?
Well, Lacey, what if I told you that I am betting the New York Football Giants this week?
There you go.
I love the Giants in this spot. I don't care who's at the quarterback position. The defense has been playing some great football. Xavier McKinney playing safety. I believe it's 5 straight games with an interception. They've been turning it over. They've been opportunistic. And this is another game that I think is going to end by just on that final possession by 3 points or less in either direction. So if you're going to give me 4 points and I get a full 3 in cover, give me the Giants. Give me it at a +4.
Yeah, so I actually did an article on this game. So I've done a lot of research on this game. The one angle I like here is actually the under. Right now it's at 40.5, maybe at 41, depending on some of the outlets you can have. So I like the under there because I think the game script is going to be Miami controlling the tempo, controlling the clock, and really running the ball. So with that said, if you're on the under, maybe look into, Myles Gaskin's over rushing yards or rushing attempts because I think they're really going to ground and pound the Giants. All right, Dead Price Picks. Let's move on to the next game. We have the Washington football team traveling to Las Vegas to play the Raiders here. Any betting angles, player props, anything like that for you?
This is a game, AC, I do think that the Raiders get at home here this week. They're coming off, like you said, a big win against your Cowboys, but they're another team. They're right there in a playoff position. They're currently the 8th seed, but the AFC, it's very tight at the moment. If they can win this game, they're back in the playoff picture. While Washington, I do think finding a rhythm, and look, they're the last team right now in the playoffs in the NFC, which, as I said, that's pretty insane. But I think it's a tough spot for Washington here. It's a long week also, guys, for the Raiders, and it's a short week for Washington. So you have to remember, long week. The Raiders haven't played since Thursday. Washington, a Monday game, short week, and the travel. I like the Raiders here at home.
Yeah, so there is the big rest advantage that Dead Prez kind of brought up there. Donnie Rightside, the Washington football team are on a 3-game winning streak. So do you think it stops this weekend, or do you think Washington's going to pull it out?
You look at that 2.5 line and you say, why is it so low? Well, the reason is, look at the Raiders, possibly without Deshaun Jackson, Waller at tight end, and also Josh Jacobs, who got added to the injury report today with an ankle injury. If they're without those three guys, how are they going to move the football here? If I see Sunday that those three players are not in here, it's got to be Washington all day, because you can't just have Carr and nobody else back there to throw to. Washington for me, if that injury report holds up.
All right, let's go ahead and move to Pittsburgh. We have a big AFC North rivalry game here. Lamar Jackson is traveling to Big Ben to play the Steelers. The Steelers obviously just coming off a really bad loss against the Chargers. The Ravens had a somewhat of an impressive win against Cleveland there on Monday night. I'll start with Alpha Dog Bets. The line right now is the Ravens -4.5. It opened up around 2.5, so it is steaming to the road team here. Do you like Lamar Jackson and the Ravens' chances?
So I like a total in this one, guys. I like the under 44. Both teams are run-dominant teams, and they want to limit the other team's possession. So they're going to want to use the clock, run the ball, and move down the field slowly. So give me the under 44. Let's get a lot of Najee carries. Let's get a lot of runs on the Ravens side and keep it low.
All right. I guess we'll just do all four of us. I'll go with here. I like the Ravens in this game. I know the Steelers are coming off a really bad loss, so the spot here could be the home team, but I think the Ravens are getting healthier. Lamar Jackson was really, really rusty coming off a couple weeks off against the Browns there, so I think he's going to be a lot better in this game. I think the Ravens are a better team. It's probably going to be a very, very public, very square play to bet the Ravens, but I just can't have any confidence in that Pittsburgh offense. Dead Prez, what about you?
Yeah, I'm opposite here. You see, I'm going to be backing the Steelers this week. It's one of my favorite plays, actually, overall this week. It doesn't look great, right, like when you match teams up, but you even mentioned line movement isn't necessarily favoring the Steelers, but I think here at home, it's just a little bit too many points here at this point. Division games, home dog, I'm just going to ride with the Steelers here. I like getting points in these types of games.
All right, beautiful. And Donnie Rightside, your final thoughts on this big game?
Yeah, I think there's some salient points on all sides here as you take a look at Alpha talking about the under in this game. I think it makes a lot of sense. anybody looks at a 44, immediately like, oh, they're definitely going to get over 44 points. But that's not the case. If you get Lamar Jackson on another average week that he has, coupled with that Pittsburgh Steelers offense that doesn't really move it all that well unless they're pushed to do so, I think the under is going to be in play. But also, as you take a look here with Dead Prez talking about, the Baltimore Ravens, it looks like like 4.5. Sign me up. Like Baltimore's going to blow them out, but it's actually a decent matchup here for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and also a buy low point for them. Because who's going to want to jump on the Pittsburgh Steelers after what you saw last week? It should be an easy victory. Then they lay a 4.5, and you start to scratch your head and say, well, if there's going to be one more comeback for the Steelers, this might be it. But keep in mind also, Steelers don't have to win. I mean, they lose 23-20. There you go. You got the under and also a cover from the Steelers' perspective. So I can see the Steelers hanging around in this football game.
All right, so we go from one divisional rival to another one in the NFC West. Right now, San Francisco will be traveling up north to play Seattle. We mentioned it earlier. Seattle's kind of trending down. They've lost their last 3 games. All 3 games have had Russell Wilson starting at quarterback. And then you look at the other sidelines. The 49ers are actually 6-5. They've won 3 straight games. Their offense, their rushing attack has come around and is a lot better. Alpha Dog Bets, how do you see this game going on Sunday?
So I like the 49ers in this spot, guys. I can't back the Seahawks anymore this season. They just keep letting me down when I've backed them. And the 49ers are coming in hot. Deebo Samuel has been an absolute monster this year. He's been arguably one of the best players on offense in the entire league. Yeah. You can't stop him on the ground or in the air. So give me the 49ers. They've been playing good football. Their defense is healthy, and they should give Russell Wilson enough issues to get this win.
Yeah, it's another square play, but I'm going to agree with Alpha Dog Bets here. I think the better team by far is San Francisco. They're still motivated because they are in the playoff race. I think Seattle might be going for a draft pick here. Donnie kind of mentioned it earlier. There could be no Pete Carroll next year. There could be no Russell Wilson next year. So it's kind of a start of a rebuild or a reset for that franchise. Dead Press Picks, how do you feel about this bout on Sunday night?
Yeah, this is another one, guys. I would like to take that road. Home dog here, getting the points, but I can't do it right now with Seattle. I mean, I watched this team last week, and it might have been the worst offensive game I've watched all season. Remember, Washington's defense isn't good. This isn't a Washington defense like they had last year. No Chase Young on that defense as well. And when these teams met earlier in the season, guys, remember that the Seahawks actually beat the 49ers. So it's tough to beat a team twice. Also, you guys mentioned 49ers still in the hunt. Obviously, the Deebo Samuel injury, that's going to hurt them. But I think they have enough pieces in this game to get it done. And I do think that the 49ers ultimately cover this. You guys mentioned it's going to be square, but I don't think they beat them twice. 49ers playing for playoff contention. You got to question how much heart Seattle will display this Sunday.
All right, so this week seems to be huge divisional matchups. We're going to go to Sunday night. Donnie Rightside, Denver started off as a 9.5-point underdog, traveling to Kansas City. The total opened at 50. It's gone lower now to 47. I'm seeing 46.5 at some outlets as well. Is Kansas City going to continue to cover, or is this a Teddy two gloves cover?
It's so tough, too, because what are you getting out of Teddy in this game? If you're getting the steady guy who throws for 212 yards, they're not going to win this football game, which means that, total is going to be in peril. The game itself is going to be in peril. But you have to like what you're seeing now from the Denver Broncos. You're getting healthier on the offensive line. You have 3 legitimate wide receivers, a couple of tight ends, and also the running game. Now, keep in mind, Melvin Gordon banged up this week. They said he's 50-50 to play on Sunday, which he does play and gets matched up with Williams. That is a fantastic backfield that can move the football against the Chiefs. Automatically, what do you see from this line, right? You see 9.5 and 10. It's like, oh, you got to sign me up for Denver. I'm going to take those 10 points here. Now, here's where the crux of the argument comes in when you take a look at a team totals that are below 20 here. So if you're saying to yourself, you like the Denver Broncos with the 10 points, ask yourself this. Is the 10 points going to be good enough if the Broncos only score 14 points? Absolutely not. The Denver Broncos, if they want to be competitive in this game and at least cover the spread, where are they going to have to be? Probably in the 20s. So the team total for the Denver Broncos is below 20. If you like them to cover the spread, best believe they're going to have at least 20 points here to try to stay into it, because legitimately, you could see a final score in this game, 35-24 Chiefs, and not bat an eye, and say, oh, I should have just taken the team total, which is like 18.5. That's where I'll go in this game.
All right, Alpha Dog Bets. These are two teams trending in the right direction. Denver is sitting at 6-5. Kansas City just ahead of them at 7-4. Kansas City is on a 4-game winning streak. They're going to be at home, and like I said, Denver's playing well as well. They've won 3 out of the last 4, including the very impressive win against the Chargers last week. How do you see this game going on Sunday Night Football?
I see this one staying low again, guys. This is another underplay for me, under 47.5. Denver is one of the best unders teams in the league. Currently, they are 2-9 on the over. So they're 9-2 on games going under. A lot of their games are going under, and they're going to try and limit the Chiefs' possessions. I don't know if you guys remember watching the Giants game, and the way the Giants-Chiefs approached it was that the Giants let them move down the field. They let them do a lot of 5-6 yard passes, a lot of running plays, and they slowly built up and moved down the field. They didn't give up the home run ball. I think we're going to see a lot of that style defense in this one, trying to stifle them in the red zone and letting them have long drives to limit the possession. So give me the under at 47.5.
All right, and this is potentially the game of the week. Monday Night Football. We have Buffalo and New England. I believe, New England is going to be traveling to Buffalo to play Josh Allen. New England sitting there at 8-4. Mac Jones is balling out of his mind. He's going to be the offensive rookie of the year. He's running away with that award. The Bills here are sitting at 7-4. They've kind of gone Jekyll and Hyde the last few weeks. Win, lose, and they won last week, whereas the Patriots are on fire. Patriots have won 5 straight, maybe even 6 straight, if I'm not mistaken. Dead Press Picks, how do you see Monday Night Football going?
Yeah, I'd go further, AC. I'd say this is the game of the year to this point. I mean, this is just exactly what you want. Finally, we get a great Monday night primetime game, not the Seahawks and the Washington football team. But I'm fired up for this game, guys. I am on the Bills in this spot. I think this line is a bit low, and it's understandable, right? The Patriots are the hottest team in the NFL. You mentioned this, but you know me, AC, I'm a regressional bettor. I think they regress here. Mac Jones hasn't lost on the road all season in his career, right? Because, I mean, he's a rookie. So this is a guy who's just come into the league, and, I mean, he's making it look easy to this point, but we know how difficult of an environment Buffalo is to play. Another thing, guys, that we have to take note of, it's a big week of rest for the Bills. Almost like they got a mini bye week because they haven't played since Thursday to Monday. So that's a ton of rest for this team, a lot of time off. It's a home game. I think the Bills win. I think they win this thing big.
All right, Donnie. So Mac Jones right now, we're hearing some amazing comparisons. Russell Wilson, Big Ben, some really, really impressive numbers there for a rookie quarterback. Do you think he continues that success here Monday night, or do you think the Bills get back into the win column?
I think it's going to be a slugfest, and I think, Dead Prez hits the nail on the head. You also have to look at the line. I mean, you're taking a good Buffalo Bills team at home just to win by a field goal. It's almost like a sign-me-up moment, but most people will look at this game and say, whoa, New England is red hot here, but also you're a product of your environment. Look at the losses. Obviously, take out the first game against Miami. They lost to New Orleans, they lost to Tampa Bay, and they lost to Dallas. So after the Dallas game, you say, here's where the win streak comes from. Jets, Chargers, Carolina, Cleveland, Atlanta, and a broken Tennessee team. You're finally stepping up in competition. This is the first time in a long time that Mac Jones is going to see a legitimate defense in bad weather. You're talking about 30 degrees at kickoff with 20-plus mile-an-hour winds in Buffalo. There's one guy with a rocket arm, and that's Josh Allen. There's the other guy on the other side, a nice arm here that's accurate. We'll see how accurate you can be in 20-plus mile-an-hour winds. I like Buffalo to win this game, and I'll buck the trend there because I like New England. Don't get me wrong. They're going to be in the playoffs. They have a bright future with Mac Jones, but this is a tough spot for them. And another good call there by Dead Prez talking about the mini bye week setting in. They know what's at stake here, Buffalo.
All right, Alpha Dog Bets, that was kind of a spoiler. It seems like all four of us is going to lean Buffalo this weekend. Do you feel like we're getting into a trap here, or are you pretty confident with that pick?
I'm pretty confident with the pick as well. I'm also on the Bills this week. 2.5 is just not enough in this game. I think the Bills are going to cover this easily. I think they win by at least a field goal. So I'm riding with you guys, and let's get that Bills W.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Alpha, let's get into the best bets of the week.
All right, guys, let's break down this week's best bets. So my first best bet, guys, is going to be the Colts minus 9.5. I'm also taking the Bills minus 2.5, and give me the Chargers +3 going against my friends AC and Dead Prez with that one.
Yeah, okay, I'll go next here. Like I said, I think we're all on the Bills. They are kind of in not desperation mode because they are going to make the playoffs, but I think if they want to go where they want to go, and that's be a Super Bowl contender, these are the games they need to take care of at home in Orchard Park. Bad playing conditions, and they have the better quarterback, the more seasoned guy, supposedly. So give me the Bills at minus 2.5. I'm going to go against the better team in the next game here. I kind of like the Lions to kind of surprise people. I think they might get their first win of the year, maybe the only win of the year. I like the Lions plus 7.5. And then I don't have the exact number here, but I have a sense that the Rams offense, Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, I think they're going to show out this week. So whatever that number is, it could be team total over 80. I'm still going to take it. So give me the Rams team total over points there. Dead Prez, what about you?
All right, guys. Yeah, first I'm on the Steelers. I mentioned divisional game at home. I absolutely love taking the dog in this spot. I'm going to take the Steelers. I think they stick in this thing. Maybe they win it outright. Next, the Rams, kind of, piggybacking off UAC. This is a great get-me-right spot. This team didn't win a game in November. Now they play the Jacksonville Jaguars at home. I think they hit them early and often. First half, minus 6.5. I think they definitely are able to cover that. And then last, the Bills. Like I said, game of the year. I'm fired up for this game, guys. I see we got a little three-way collab here on the Bills, and Donnie, he's also on the Bills, so we got like a little show collab. I think the Bills get it done in this spot. Donnie, what you got this week?
Yeah, I'm going to go with some pain this week. So I'm going to be rooting against some of these public favorites here. First, we're going to go with the Seattle Seahawks getting 3.5, which is available on Tuesday and Wednesday. Now dropped to a 3. Deebo Samuel not playing in this football game. I think it's going to be a lower scoring tilt. I like what I saw out of Russell Wilson late in that football game. Another week where he gets to rest up that finger. Not even asking for them primarily to win the game. Just hang around with a chance to steal that one and cover the 3.5. And the second one, how about this one? The Chicago Bears at home getting 7.5 points from Arizona. I don't know exactly what I'm going to get out of Kyler Murray, a quarterback, and also DeAndre Hopkins. Do I think Arizona probably will win this game? Yes, I do. But I think the Bears can hang around this one. I'll take the 7.5 points there and buck the public trend. Then the last one here, the Washington football team and the Raiders in a dome. I think Washington wins this game. But you know what else I think? Both of these teams get into the 20s in here to give me a legitimate shot at hitting the over 49.5. Some of these games, I don't know if I want to watch, and I just want to check the final score because they ain't going to be fun to root on. I'll tell you that, boys.
Love it. Let's go ahead and get into the questions. It's been an amazing show so far, Dad.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys, for the questions as well. We appreciate everybody who comments every week for the questions. First, guys, from Average Joe. If Buffalo destroyed the Saints in their stadium and Dallas is a very similar team talent-wise, defense-wise, can we assume because of the Vegas factor and do factor, there ain't no way the Saints get destroyed and actually cover today with the house, a.k.a. Las Vegas, on their side? That was like a chapter book to read, but we got through it. Who wants to start with this one? We'll go to you first, Alpha.
Yeah, I think it's going to get done tonight. I don't think the Saints are going to get it done. I do think they're going to take a little bit of a beating. So I'm sticking with my bets today. I like the under and the Cowboys.
Yeah, Dead and I think we're both on the same side, kind of going opposite of Alpha and Donnie Rightside there. But I kind of like the Saints here. The Cowboys should be in a great, bounce back spot here. But the Saints at home, that's a crazy rocky environment, and the Cowboys' run defense is not very good. So I think the Saints are just going to keep it on Taysom Hill and Mark Ingram and keep it a low-scoring game.
All right, Wizard, we'll hit question 2, please. All right, guys, for the next question, should it be wise to drop money on Miami with Danny Dimes out and Mike Glennon starting? Donnie, we'll start with you on this. Do you think that – well, I think you hit this earlier. You said you don't think it makes much of a difference here?
No, I don't think it makes that big of a difference here. And you're also, you see the line open up at 2.5, it goes to 4.5. I don't know if that's really so much at Danny Dimes being out or just that the Miami Dolphins are actually a really good football team over the past month. So to me, it's a very square play to take the Dolphins. But at the same time, I'm sort of saying, like, there's no way I can back the Giants here. So that's where I'm going with that answer.
Alpha, Giants fan, you're on the
Giants
pick, right?
First time all season I'm taking the Giants. I don't think it's an issue with who's playing quarterback this week. I think the game plan will be keeping it simple, quick slants, all the small passes. So give me the Giants. I don't think it's an issue this week.
All right, Wizard, we'll hit question 3, please. All right, guys. This is from Seb. Am I crazy for thinking the Pats defense can beat the Bills offense this week? AC, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's going to be a combination of not only their defense and Bill Belichick and his awesome game planning, but that weather. Donnie kind of mentioned it. Yeah. It's not the snow. It's not the rain that people are worried about when you're playing football. It's the wind. It kind of negates a lot of the passing there. But Josh Allen has a rocket for an arm, and they have 3 really, really capable wide receivers that can make a lot of people miss after the catch. So I don't think the Pats defense can handle the Bills today, this Monday night. I think the Bills offense continues the roll. They're going to use that momentum that they created in New Orleans and just continue.
All right, Wizard, we will get to the final question here. Again, guys, thank you for all the questions you guys dropped in the comments. We do appreciate it. All right, from JLA Picks, what are your thoughts on the spread for the Texans-Colts game? It's a good question because I don't think we talked about this game sitting at +10 with the Texans at home, despite their matchup being a blowout. Do you feel this may be a good spot for the Texans to cover? Donnie, do you have any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because you're talking about, the Indianapolis and how they're going to come off that loss last week. This really sets up well for a monster game out of Jonathan Taylor. So if that's going to take place, it's really going to be hard for Houston to sort of put up a fight. And also, let's keep in mind, this isn't the Tyrod Taylor that we saw in game 1 versus Jacksonville for the first half of the game versus the Cleveland Browns. They've been abysmal on offense the past couple weeks. It's very hard for me to jump in the ring and back the Texans this one because I think Indianapolis Colts hit their team total of around 28, which tells me that Houston's got to get around the 20s. I don't know if they can. I think Indy might run away with this one, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think that this is an Indy blowout. You mentioned, too, Donnie, Jonathan Taylor props. Against the Jets, another horrible defense. His prop basically went over in the first half. I mean, he ends up blowing it out. I think you kind of just, make a square play in this game. I think it's the Colts. AC or Alpha, you guys have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Alpha, I'm sorry. The only offense to me that's worse than Danny Dimes and the Giants is going to be the Houston Texans. They only had 202 yards last week. You think that's only going to happen once? No, the week before they had sub 200 yards. So that's back-to-back weeks where they only had 200 yards of offense while giving up about 400. So this is a really bad team. Tyrod Taylor, his first game back against Miami 3 weeks ago, threw 4 interceptions and had a fumble. So 5 turnovers there. I mean, Indy should run away with this game. I think it is one of Alpha's best bets of the week. Is that right, Alpha?
It's my best bet of the week.
Nice.
So I love the Colts in the spot for everything Donnie said as well, with the team total being up to 28, as well as the Colts after they lost last week to the Bucs in that fashion. They're going to want to make a statement. They're going to play the whole game, all 4 quarters. So I see them running with this one.
All right, that is all the questions. Thank you, Wizard, for the questions. AC, you want to take it back here?
Yeah, thank you everybody for joining. Definitely check out our best bets. We had a really good week last week. Donnie went 3-0. He swept the board. He's 5-1, by the way, since joining the show. So he is on fire. Dead Prez back-to-back weeks going 2-1. So great record there. Alpha went 2-1 last week as well. I went 1-2, but it's been a good week or a good season so far, being 19-12 so far. So definitely check out our best bets. Again, a big thank you for Bookmakers Review. Check us out on YouTube. Like, subscribe to us, subscribe to the channel. Check out all of the description and more NFL content for all those links and stuff. So thank you, guys. Good luck on your bets, guys. Go Cowboys tonight.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.